Carter is a mechanic, he is very knowledgeable and nothing seems to bother him. But reality is crueler than ideal. Breadwinner, Carter can only work hard as a maintenance worker, but fate does not favor those who work hard. Carter had cancer and had to be hospitalized. In a hospital ward, Carter met Edward, who was also hospitalized with cancer. Edward is a billionaire, even. This hospital is Edward's property. Edward is a humorous but slightly grumpy man. She was married 4 times, have a daughter, is a veritable single billionaire. Edward likes expensive coffee. You must bring coffee making facilities when you are hospitalized. 2 old people with cancer meet and get acquainted in the same ward. The 2 didn't know each other very well at first. Edward's speech in the ward didn't drop the decibels. Carter is not to be outdone, but the relationship between the 2 is not happy, cause Edward feels like he's in his own hospital, but still have to live with someone else, so often scold each other. Edward is always alone, even after major surgery. I can only lie alone, unattended. Looks extra lonely. By contrast, Carter is much happier. My wife comes to deliver meals every day. This makes Edward a little envious, so the 2 occasionally chatted about Edward's favorite coffee. Carter also knows a thing or two about coffee. Surprise Edward, they have witnessed each other's most difficult times. Looking at each other late at night, shaking with pain. This makes people from 2 different worlds, seems to have found common ground. One day the doctor told Edward he has only 6 months to live. The longest is 1 year. Carter is not much better. Life up to 1 year. Carter wrote a list. This is when he was in college. Life plan arranged by philosophy professor for students. Carter wanted to write anything he wanted. Unexpectedly, this list was discovered by Edward and aroused great interest of Edward. Edward added a few strokes above, then Lacarte work with him to achieve the things on the list. Carter thinks this is death. Dying person, better lie down for the rest of your life. But Edward told him, it's great to have a crazy opportunity right now. Brother, you take me, I take the money, let's do something we've always wanted to do. Although Carter's wife don't support Carter doing this, even had a big fight with Carter over it, but think people are dying, best to let the last moments of his life to fulfill his unfulfilled wish, so don't stop. In the end, Carter and Edward embarked on the journey together. 2 people each complete a task on the list, cross that out with a pen. They go skydiving, get tattoos, race cars, go to France and enjoy the food, watching wild animals, go to the Taj Mahal, go to the pyramids, achieve many young people. Never done. That's when Carter's wife called Edward. Hope he sends Carter home. When Carter learned, tell Edward his kids are grown. Me and my wife are lonely. No more noise at home. Less family disputes. The family suddenly quieted down. Make Carter feel a little uncomfortable. Don't even know how to face. So Carter insisted on continuing the journey of the 2. Edward also mentioned he has no contact with his daughter. Carter was added to the list. Reconcile Edward and his daughter. Edward looked a little impatient about this. Looks like my daughter and I have a big feud, Edward later said, after she divorced his wife. The number of times I saw my daughter gradually decreased. Feelings slowly fade. Daughter looks for boyfriend when she grows up. But Edward always felt that there was something wrong with his daughter's boyfriend. Disagree with 2 people together. Rebellious daughter, I didn't listen to my father's dissuasion at all. 2 people had a dispute. Eventually, the daughter insisted on getting married. Daughter did not invite Edward to the wedding. Daughter suffers domestic violence after marriage, but the daughter also refused Edward's help. Make Edward sad. After the daughter suffered domestic violence for the 2nd time, Edward uses his social skills. Let this scumbag lost in daughter's world, but it didn't take his life. Since then, daughter completely severed ties with him. She even announced that her father had died. Since then, Edward and his daughter have never seen each other again. Carter didn't say anything. Right in my heart, silently remember this. He hopes one day, Edward and his daughter reached a settlement. The journey of the 2 continues. They talk frankly. How to handle my own affairs. Discuss where to bury 2 deaths. Seems like a very mundane thing. They walk the Great Wall, climbed to the foot of Mount Everest again, but due to the weather, did not fly to sea. Then the 2 came to Hong Kong. Carter met a very special girl here. The 2 chatted very speculatively. The girl said she was lucky to climb the snow mountain, although it is cold, but the starry sky at night is beautiful. Carter thought of his family. Tell Edward he wants to go home. On the way home, Carter quietly persuaded Edward's assistant, drive to Edward's daughter's house. I would like to take this opportunity to reconcile Edward and his daughter. When the car drove to the door of my daughter's house, Edward refuses to enter. Boom, man. Got into an angry fight with Carter. Carter home. Enjoy a lively meal with the family, then get ready to make out with your wife. But when the wife is all dressed up, back to the bedroom, and found Carter fell to the ground. And Edward is still alone. His favorite coffee beans are gone. Unopenable lunchbox. This also made Edward very irritable. Even beautiful girls are in front of my eyes. Nothing. He forced himself to work, but absent-minded. During the meeting, he got a call. As it turned out, Carter's condition deteriorated further. Even with surgery, the success rate is very low. Edward is anxious but helpless. Edward came to visit Carter. Carter handed him a letter he had written to him, joking about the bad food at Edward Hospital. Let him have a good meal at his own hospital. When Carter was getting ready to go into the operating room, he handed Edward a list. It says Edward's favorite coffee. This is a cat eating coffee berries, excreted feces. After Edward finished reading the text on the list, two people laughing together. Then Carter crossed off another item on the hospital list. Edward back in the car, read Carter's letter to himself. Carter is said to have made his claim, apologized for sending Edward to his daughter. I also wrote about the timely travel together. Thanks Edward, but he still wants Edward, able to complete the rest of the project. So Edward came to his daughter's house, met my lovely granddaughter by chance. He carefully kisses his granddaughter, then cross out an item, kissed the most beautiful girl in the world. Carter's surgery failed. Edward attended his funeral. He said Carter's existence. This is my salvation in my previous life. Although 3 months ago, two people are just strangers, but he witnessed the ups and downs of Carter's life with his own eyes. Past 3 months, it can be regarded as helping Carter complete some things you want to do in life. Then he crossed out a wish that Carter had written down: be kind to others, help others. Edward died at the end. His assistant took his ashes, buried in the Himalayas, crossed them off the list. Last remaining item, witnessed a miracle. We keep talking about things to do. Do you have to wait until the end of your life to do it? We are always waiting for money, wait for the opportunity, but I found my whole life was wasted waiting for this.